Hey guys, Akaru here, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through step by step exactly how to start a shadow operating business from scratch and scale it to 10K per month. Now, this is literally the fastest method I know possible. This is the method I teach my clients, and I'm going to give you essentially a whole overview of the blueprint so that you can get started and launch a successful shadow operating business today. Firstly, if you're someone who's been looking to get into shadow operating, or maybe you've already taken some steps but you just don't know the exact method, well, this video is for you. So I'm going to break down everything I would do, and the very first thing I'm going to assume is that you have no influencer connections, maybe no skills, but just raw time commitment and the ability to stay consistent. If you have those two things, then you can make this work. So the very first thing you need to do is pick a niche. And why do we want to do this? Well, we can't be targeting any influencer, to be honest. We need to be very specific with who we work with. And I did make a video on the most profitable niches. You can actually check that out. It's on my channel. I think it's the last video I just posted. But let's assume we go with the fitness niche, okay? This is a very big niche. If you don't know what to sell, then you can just start there, like go straight into the weight loss and body transformation. There's plenty of influencers doing this. Okay, so once you've picked your niche, ideally a very high leverage one where there's always buyers and pain points in this niche, then you need to define the problem that you want to solve, okay? So if it's fitness, right? If it's weight loss, then you essentially want to help people get into shape and transform their physiques. Now, the way you'll do this is by finding an influencer who is in shape, who is in the fitness niche, and you will help them build out a digital product. And essentially, by doing that, you will be helping people get into shape. So although you personally are not going to be the brand or the face, because as shadow operators, we stay behind the scenes and build everything for the influencer, although you're not on the front end, you are still making it possible, because without you, the influencer wouldn't have had created this product, and that means those people wouldn't have changed their lives and transformed their bodies. So when I'm saying these things to you, I kind of do mean you, because you will be changing lives. So identify the problem you want to solve. That's the first step. And so once you have the niche and you know the problem, you can move on to the next step. And that's to essentially start to look for influencers. And you can do this on many platforms. My personal favorites are Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, LinkedIn. Those are other ones, but mainly Instagram and YouTube. You can start there. And you want to be looking for certain things, okay? For my clients, you'll know that there's an influencer criteria checklist. So I basically tell you exactly what to look for and who to work with, who not to work with. But for you guys, you just want to make sure that they have good engagement. And another thing is checking their websites, okay? Because some influencers will already have a website in the bio. Now, if that's the case, what I recommend is to check it out, because sometimes the website is not optimized. A lot of the time, it'll be something like a link tree or a stand store. I've seen that. Or even just a very basic website that is just not optimized at all. And if you see this, then you can come in as a shadow operator and essentially rebuild their entire funnel and backend and improve it and make more money. So there's two types of creators that we want to reach out to and collect. The first type is ones that have no product, no website at all. So they have the following, they're in one of the niches that you've selected, and they're offering nothing at all. I mean, this is really good, because if you were to come in and build them something, there would be results instantly, really, because they've never launched anything before. The second type of influencer we want to target are those who are promoting something, but they're just not optimizing it, okay? So those are the two types. There will be a type of category of influencer who is already selling something, but they're doing it very well. And again, there's many examples, and it can be hard to tell sometimes, which is why I do, recommend to if you're my client to check with me, but to just really do your due diligence and, you know, make sure that you know if it's a good website or not. So that's the really first criteria of an influencer, is to just see what they're promoting, okay? Once you've done that and you've checked their engagement, they're in the niche that you want, and they have a website or they don't, then you can move on to the next step, which is actually to add them to your list. So you want to create a Google Sheet, right? And you basically want to have different columns so that you can add these prospects to your list. And once you do that, you know, you want to essentially collect as many as possible, but maybe let's just say 30 to start with, right? Once you've collected 30 influencers in your niche who meet the criteria, then you can go on to the next step, which is sending them a message. Now this message is going to be sent either through email, through DM. To be honest, those are the two main ways, but you want to create curiosity in this message. And the reason you need to do that is because we're not trying to sell them, we're not trying to get them as a partner on the very first message. The sole goal of it is to simply get a reply. So we want to keep it relatively short, add some sort of incentive and explain a bit about what you do, and then send it, okay? And you want to send it to all of your influencers that you've collected. Again, I have scripts and templates for this that have been proven to work, but once you've sent that message, maybe you'll get some replies, maybe you won't, but what you can do is follow up with them a week later. And the reason you want to do this is because not everyone will check the first time. A lot of these influencers are busy, they have different priorities, they get tons of DMs and emails, so you want to make sure that you're consistent and following up with the ones you really want to work with. If you do this step properly, then you will start to get replies. When you do get replies, you will get a mixed bag. You know, you might have some people saying, no thank you, or I want to learn more, or, you know, maybe some will leave you on scene. It's part of the game, and to be honest, it's a volume game, right? So you just got to keep going and be persistent on this step. One thing I forgot to mention was the range of followers the influencers should have. So personally, I don't recommend to go below 30,000 followers. And the reason why is because it's just not worth it for you if you partner with them. And what I mean by that is the work it takes to build out the back end, to build the product, to set up the sales systems, everything is going to be exactly the same whether the influencer has 10,000 followers or 300,000 followers, okay? So that's why it's so important to at least minimum follower range 30,000. But yeah, anyway, that's that point I wanted to make. So once you start to get some replies, and let's assume that someone is interested, then you want to go to the next step, and that is to either send them a Loom video breaking down their entire business, and you can basically show them how you can help them, or you can go straight to the call and basically try to get them on a quick call. And on that call, firstly, if you get them on the call, congratulations, you've got to a step that 90% of people haven't. So let's say you're on the partnership call with the influencer. The way that you want to structure this is keep it really simple. It's not a sales call. It's just seeing if you can actually come in and add value and if there's a partnership potential between you two. Okay? So the purpose of this partnership call is to just identify if there's an opportunity. The way you want to structure it is really just build rapport. So introduce yourself, remind them what you do. So look, I came across your Instagram profile based on your following and the content that you're posting. I can see there's a potential to build a digital product. I'm a shadow operator. What I can do is come in, set up an entire backend, no upfront cost to you, and we simply just split the profits. So that's kind of the proposition. And once you get past that, you want to ask some questions about their current situation. Okay? So things like, how's your monetization going so far? That's a really good one. And from that, you'll understand if they're monetizing at all, or if they are, and maybe they're earning a couple $1,000s a month, which is one of those is the most likely case, okay? Another question is, have you thought about launching, a digital product in the back end, or improving your offer that you have, or working with a partner, something like that, okay? So you want to ask these open-ended questions and just get a feel for where they're at. Now, if you see there is a partnership opportunity, that's when you kind of want to lay out the idea and share the proposal. So really just break down exactly what you'd be doing, what they'll be doing, and the partnership split. I do get a lot of questions on this. So my opinion and my advice on the partnership split, honestly, it can range between 30 to 50%, but if you're just getting started and this is your first client, I would lean more towards 30% just to make it give them an incentive to work with you, okay? Because it's your first client and you kind of just want to prove yourself and go through the entire process. So that's why I do recommend 30%. But when you do become more seasoned and experienced in this business, which you will if you follow these steps, then you can start to demand higher percentages, okay? So that's what you do on the partnership call. If all goes well on that call, they will basically be excited and want to work with you. And then what you want to do is send them a partnership agreement. And this is a contract just outlining again what you covered on that call and making sure everyone's on the same page. Now, once you've signed the agreement, you've done, honestly, in my opinion, the hardest part, because a lot of people who get into this business model really struggle finding influencers and signing partnerships. And that's exactly what I help with. In fact, I'm pleased to say one of my clients who started working with me this month, never done shadow operating before, has already secured their first partnership agreement. So you know who you are, congratulations to you. But it just goes to show that if you do the right steps, you can get the results, okay? Now, once you have the partnership, now the fun part begins, which is building out the entire backend. The very first thing you want to do is build an offer, okay? This offer is going to be to the influencer's audience, and the way you do this is working with the influencer, you kind of back and forth and just figuring out what the pain points of the audience is, okay? Once you've done this, you want to essentially build your offer around those pain points and create a holistic sort of package, right? We don't want to just sell an ebook. We don't want to sell one single product. We want to give them a transformation package. My personal favorite, and I did make a video on this as well, is a Skool community. But community plus curriculum. I think I said that right. So yeah, those two things in combination, because it is way more powerful to combine those two things, and the person who joins will definitely get more value that way. They can connect with other members, talk about their weight loss transformation, also go through the program, like maybe if it's weight loss, it might be like nutrition plans, workout programs, what else do we have? Supplements, maybe ways to track their calories, something like that, just throwing out ideas. But essentially 4 to 6 modules, okay? And then once you've done that, and you've created the offer, you've set up like the school, then you're going to need to work with the influencer and have them provide you the content. Obviously, we're doing a lot on the back end, but they do need to provide their knowledge and expertise. And I recommend in the form of videos. And the reason being, it's easy for them. They can block out a couple hours and, film these videos. It might be like 10 or 20 to start, something like that. You don't need all the modules on day one to launch this offer. You just need really 1 or 2, okay? So even if it's like 10 videos from the influencer, get them to share with you in a Google Drive folder, upload them to the Skool community, and you can basically launch. Now, I don't want this video to get too long just because there's quite a lot of steps involved in this, but there's a whole entire pricing strategy that I think I'll save for another time. But yeah, essentially you want to price it reasonably, and then once you have the offer, and the influencer's on board and he agrees with it, or she agrees with it, then you want to set up the landing page, okay? Because when they promote it, you don't want to just send them straight to Skool and they'll see the price, they want to understand the value involved. We need to do it in a way of applying, or basically seeing a landing page so that they can understand what the influencer is offering and then go through those steps. So we need to set up a website. You can use something like ClickFunnels. That's the one that I've used the most, and build a application page. And then from there, you have a button on that page where we'll basically take them to the next step, which is to qualify them. But yeah, the main things on the landing page, you'll have like a headline, you'll have a video, a button, some testimonials if you can, and yeah, that's basically it. And then the button will take them to the next step, which will be like some sort of qualification process. Again, you need to set this up properly. And those who are qualified and who are interested in this offer, they will land onto the next step, or the last step, which is actually being able to join the Skool community. And that's where you present them with a price, okay? So those are really the steps involved in terms of the back end. So far we've covered how to find an influencer, what to send them, the partnership call, like building the offer, building the back end. Once you've gone through all of those steps, you basically go to the next phase, which is the launch phase. And you do want to hype this up, because if you just launch like that, I mean, it's good, but you will experience more benefits and more revenue hyping it up with the influencer, okay? So I recommend to get them to basically do some stories or YouTube videos if they're on YouTube ahead of launch, just to kind of get the audience excited about what you're offering. Maybe even do a waitlist. You set up a whole email sequence. So yeah, that's what I would do. And then on launch day, again, there's a lot of different things involved in this process, but the main one that I can give you is to simply test it for yourself. Okay, go through as a customer, pretend you're joining the program. Check all the steps, because the last thing you want to do is launch something with an influencer after going through all that work of finding them, the agreement, building everything, and then for a button to be broken or for a link to not work. That could be the most fatal mistake that can absolutely make everything you've done like kind of not have any meaning, because what will happen if that happens is the influencer will not really trust you, because they've kind of agreed to work with you, got to this point, and if you've launched and the link doesn't work or the button doesn't work, they will just kind of not really like that. And secondly, yeah, you won't really make any revenue. So that's why it's so important, and the one takeaway I can generally give to you if you're doing this business model, when you launch, make sure you just test it. Test it twice. It only takes a few minutes to do this, but it will make a world of difference. So yeah, I mean, that's my entire blueprint to going from basically where you are now to 10K a month, is to go through this entire process, launch it. Once you launched it, of course, you're not going to be at 10K straight away, but there's many ways to grow it, and as I said, I've got a pricing strategy to help you grow this. For example, you might want to increase the price as you go on, but also do refer a friend. So maybe if a member joins and then they refer their friend, they get some type of bonus, or some sort of extra module that they couldn't have got otherwise. As well as Skool, right? Skool is a really good platform because they have a discover section. So any good Skool community will be promoted through their Skool Discover platform. Okay, they have so many communities on there, but if the community is really good, they will put it on their Discover page, which is kind of, you can think about it on Google, right? How you search for a term. It's kind of like that, but within Skool. So if you search for fitness on Skool, all the Skool communities will come up, that are to do with fitness. And the reason why this is powerful is because when you build this with the influencer and you grow it and you promote it, and when you start changing people's lives, Skool will recognize this and they'll start to promote you organically, and you will get paying members essentially at no cost to you or the influencer, just from Skool itself, and your community can grow like organically. So that's super, super powerful. But yeah, I mean, the influencer will definitely need to be promoting this multiple times, and you guys can just keep growing the Skool community. And one last thing I did want to say was, yeah, if you do a monthly subscription, this is good because you can build monthly recurring revenue, and MRR, that's what it stands for, like for short, right? The abbreviation. If you can build your MRR, you'll be in a very good position because you're building like a bedrock of revenue. And I always recommend that to my clients just getting started, because you're going to have that security and consistency knowing this income will come in every single month. And I know a lot of you might have other commitments or financial pressures or a 9-to-5. So I wouldn't recommend for you to do something that's like a one-off hype thing, like do this thing that's just not worth it. I would only recommend you to do the Skool community, which is the recurring revenue, because you can build up that confidence knowing this income is going to be coming in your bank every month. Okay? So yeah, I mean, that's basically everything I wanted to say. Honestly, all God's honest truth, all my cards on the table, laid it out for you. I mean, it's quite hard to simplify an entire business model in, 22 minutes. But I would say if you just follow those steps, you would be in a good position. Now, for those of you who do want that extra support and potentially one-on-one mentorship, then I do encourage you to click that first link in the description. You can apply to work with me. I do take on a limited amount of clients because obviously there's quite, it's one-on-one. And again, like I only want to work with those who are serious. So if that's for you, feel free to click it. If not, completely fine. Just go through the entire steps that I laid out in this video. Other than that, please like, subscribe, and see you on the next one.